Here you go, guys. It's a beautiful, drizzly, gray, overcast Washington day. This is what we call Washington sunshine. And here what I'm pointing at is actually what will be our garden. When we bought this property, this was empty lot. The garage was there, the barn was there. But all of this area was just lawn, and we built this fence. We haven't put the gates up, we haven't finished it. It's been our winter project because of course here in Washington we don't really get snow or freezing temperatures. It's just this day in, day out. And we're in the process of building our garden boxes. And I'll update you guys on that too. Okay, so it's time to get some seed starts in. It's end of January. It's time for some onions in my zone, which is zone 8B in the Pacific Northwest. And it's time to head into our gloomy basement. All right, and here we are heading into our basement from our stairs. I know I have some makeup on today. That's because I have a baby shower to attend via Zoom. But okay, so we're here in the basement, and here's our wonderful little light setup that was gifted to us. And gonna get some onion seeds in. And yeah, it's pretty cool in this area because we actually have a heat leak, which we need to address, but it works out because this area stays so cold in the summertime and so warm and toasty, like just that right, 55, 60 degree weather, which isn't toasty and warm, cozy, but it's great for starting seeds in. And if we head over here, we can start the process. Okay, so this is our setup. And this whole setup was gifted to us by my in-laws. My husband's parents used to own an organic farm, and they were able to give us a little bit of pointers, but truth be told, we're using a totally different, not that it's truly different, but we're going in a different direction than they did. They did strictly in-ground planting, and we cannot do that because the area that we chose to have our farm to start our garden was, when we went to build the fence, we realized that it was actually backfilled at one point with quite a lot of sand, and so we're talking feet of sand underneath us. So there really is just no rescuing that particular setup. There's no rescuing that soil. So we're doing raised bed. We want to do hugelkultur. Really was turned on to it by Mark over at Self Sufficient Me, which if you haven't checked out his channel, check it out. He's the most amazing dad joke laden lad who gardens in his backyard. He's so funny. Just adorable. So yeah, we're really just teaching ourselves from the ground up. A lot of late nights watching YouTube, reading blogs. Jess over at Roots and Refuge Farm, which is another channel that we watch a lot late at night, is she touts the benefit of turning your waiting room into a classroom. And that was something that when I heard it, I was like, oh yes, that makes so much sense, because here in Washington, our winters are long and they're dark, and they're not necessarily cold. They're just wet and cold enough for you not to go outside and play for the most part. So there's no kayaking, there's no hiking for us. We've done it before, it sucks. There's just a lot of, you know, it's 3:30 in the afternoon and pitch black outside, and we'll joke that midnight lasts all day long in the wintertime. So one of the things that my husband and I, and I've noticed friends do it too, is to just learn something, whether that be a language. I've had a friend who lent me a musical instrument before, and I spent the winter just reintroducing myself with the saxophone. And you know, once summer comes along, then it's like, oh, thank God, yeah, I can go see people. I love people. I love sunshine. My batteries are charged, you know. Everyone just kind of, it's like iguanas sunning themselves on the rocks. They just run for the sun. And why not do something that actually can be lasting and sustainable and benefit my life, you know? I think one year I tried to learn how to extreme coupon, and that was kind of fun. Like, I'm not the biggest person on math, like good at math or words apparently, but you know, it was all right. It's not really something that I use that's sustainable. And then when we bought this property, I realized I want to farm. I want to learn how to garden. I want to learn the different methods of gardening. I want to learn the different methods of animal raising. I want to learn what goes into it. It's not that I'm that far removed. I mean, I grew up with amazing gardens. Not quite a homestead, but you know, I helped my parents cultivate this raw property as a young child. You know, that's where they're going to be retiring. And so, you know, I wasn't really far removed from nature. I've always loved it, but I've never grown my own food. And I think that would be, you know, might as well use my winter to learn how to do that and see what happens. All right, so you can see my little workbench set up. This is Project Central. What I'm gonna need for starting seeds is, you know, not everybody will have this. You can just makeshift a seed starting setup like this via some shelves. I really love the IKEA wooden shelves because they have slats in this base area. And then I also really like those metal baker's rack shelves that you can get like at any Target, any IKEA again, Walmart, anywhere. You can even get them at the hardware store. And then these are actual grow lights that were gifted. My husband's parents used to own an organic farm, and they gifted us these grow lights. However, there are some alternatives. Like, you can get regular fluorescent lights and then buy a bulb that is either a grow light, so the actual proper lumens for a grow setup, or Jill over at, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, Jill over, I'll put her link below, has this great video about how you can buy these light bulbs, which are like $50 per bulb, or you can get the closest to, and it's such a minimal difference that she is able to use the regular light bulbs that are like, you know, $10 per. So anyway, the moral of the story is you don't have to use the proper grow lights. You can use closest to the wattage that they put out. Here's what I've already started. As you can see, these cells have yet to be planted. This one, I've just put the seeds in. I haven't covered them up yet. And then all of these cells I have planted so far. And these are the varieties that we've got going. And you know, they all say 8 to 12 weeks before last frost, so I'm kind of erring on the like 11 to 12 week estimate. And then we have one more variety, which is these guys. I got these on Amazon because I was having such a hard time finding onion seeds when I was ready to purchase them. I guess I was a little impatient because I just got my seed catalogs in the mail, but you know what? You can never have too many seeds. I have one of these rows of cells set up. I like to leave a little space, that way you can cover the seeds after you plant them. And I'm going to be putting 4 or 5 little seeds in each one of these cells, each one of these little square receptacles. And I used to think that you had to put 1 seed per cell. That was just my rookie mind, not comprehending that you can separate your plants once they sprout and reach a certain level of root structure, before they're root bound together, you know, just like totally entwined. So it's a way to maximize space. And I think I actually learned that from the Ripe Tomato Gardener, or Ripe Tomato Gardens, one of those, on YouTube, the Ripe Tomato Garden on YouTube. And he's a wealth of information too. So I learned that this is a way to maximize space so that you don't have to have row upon row upon row for a certain number of whatever crop. You can actually start them off this way and then transplant them to bigger pots and bigger pots until they're ready to start being hardened off, which is throwing just chuck your plants outside as hard as you can. You bring them out and periodically expose them to more and more natural sunlight and the natural elements that are happening, in order to develop hardiness for them to be able to survive like a cold night outdoors. And so I'm just putting 4 or 5 seeds, I think about 5 actually, in each cell, and then I'll cover them up with a little bit of dirt. And once they reach a certain level of maturity, then I'll come in and see what sprouted and give you guys an update, and then put them in bigger pots. Also, with sowing multiple seeds in each cell, if there are some seeds that don't sprout, then you're not wasting an entire cell. So that's time and space. Well, I guess not time, but space that could be wasted. And then I'm only doing 1 row each per variety of onion that I'm growing. And I actually plan on planting all the seeds. And the reason that I'm doing 1 row each is because I'm kind of diving in the deep end, and we are going to be planting a lot of varieties and a lot of different plants. And I want to make sure that I don't overwhelm myself, but also I want a second crop. So I'm not really sure if this is appropriate to do with onions, and I don't really care because I'm kind of learning this year. This is our trial run, right? So what I plan on doing, and I'd love feedback on this, what I plan on doing is when I have these plants started and ready to be put outside and I plant them, I'm also going to plant seeds. And so in the same soil, like not crowding them in, but planting them in the same area. And my thought process behind that is that I'll get 2 potentially, if I've done my math right and the almanac is right with what our projected frost dates are for this area, I may get 2 crops of onions. And I don't know if that's necessary to do with onions, but why the heck not? Just try it. And then my system for this has just been to prep the next cell. I just take a little dirt, potting mix, I should say, and just move it over to the side, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Here's where I just planted, right? Here's where I just planted. Oh, so yeah, definitely label stuff because we already got plenty of mysteries. All right, and then I pinch a little bit, and then this cell's ready. And there's probably more efficient ways to do this, but this is what I've figured out so far. And then I just give it a tiniest little pat, like I'm just, you know, patting the top of their little heads to put them to bed. Oh, I swear, I promised myself I wouldn't become one of those creepy people that personify all their plants, but I probably will. Okay, and so what I read or listened to, I don't remember which one, is that you don't want to like
mash them down or pack it down too hard, because then there's not enough air gaps in the soil, even though it's potting mix, for the seeds to kind of come up. Like, you don't want to create too much pressure for them not to be able to poke through, or not receive water properly, which I don't know. So I just kind of, you know, pat them down. And then these ones I'm going to leave open for now because I don't have anything else that's ready to be seeded. But when I'm ready to add more, then I have, you know, however many, probably 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I have 30 more cells to plant. And then this is how I organized them all. This was, again, another dark winter project to keep me sane. It really didn't take that long, maybe a couple hours. Prior to this, I had them just all in this crazy no order pile in a drawer in my craft room. And so I decided, you know what, I need something that actually functions. So I went ahead and organized. And this is like a hodgepodge of seeds that I've purchased and also seeds that I saved. So I actually started saving seeds before I started purchasing seeds. I used to just buy starts. And then once I learned about seed saving, I actually started doing it. So, I mean, obviously this is something that I bought. And then we got a lot of mysteries because throughout the winter time, what I would do is, I would save my seeds, and of course, you know, you don't use one vegetable at a time. These, I'm so excited. I really hope these come up. You know, you don't just use one vegetable. Oh, these I'm so excited about too. These were a gift. We got these from my in-laws. You don't just use one vegetable while you're cooking. So I would have all these bowls like set out, and then you know, put my seeds in that I've saved to dry, or plates to dry, or just, you know, various containers next to my wood stove or in my kitchen or whatnot. And then life would happen because I work full time and I would get busy and I would end up with so many that I couldn't identify. So some of these are even guesses, you know, my best guesstimate as to what was happening. And like, even if you, so right here, we've got 3 different envelopes of Carmen peppers. And that's because these are 3 different dinners where I decided I wanted to keep the seeds and forgot that I already had an envelope going. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if all of them will come through or come up rather. Here's another sweet cayenne. Ooh, Johnny's. This was a gift too. What are these? More Carmens. Okay.
So anyway, so I would have all these seeds all over my kitchen, all over my living room, everywhere. And then I just pile them up. And in my head, every time I'd walk by, I'd be like, okay, so that's this, that's that. This is an Anaheim pepper. Oh, that's okay. That's a Carmen. That was a cherry pepper. And some of them you can tell, right? Just by the seed. And then I'd forget what they were. So there's mystery tomatoes and mystery peppers. Quite a lot of them. But actually, I just thought of, so actually I have one of these containers that's labeled other and mystery, and I also have these seeds and I have no idea what they are. None. I've tried Googling, I can't figure it out. At first I thought they were beets, but that doesn't really make sense because beets have like weird seeds. I don't know, they're weird shaped to me. So if any of you know what this is, please let me know. I'm gonna put it up here. Okay, so if any of you know what these seeds are, try to get them really good in the light here. Here's my thumb so you can kind of compare the size. I thought they were beets at first. I guess they could be, but they just don't look right. I really don't know what they are. I'm guessing some kind of brassica maybe, but I could be way off. So if any of you know, or like anybody watching, if you know what these are, please let me know. So the extent of my old garden used to be 2 tomato plants, a couple of cucamelons, and a really sad bell pepper plant in my backyard. I think I also planted 1 zucchini in my front yard, you know, like in among the flowers and stuff. It was like so cute to eat to eat my like little rinky dinky zucchini. I've had good luck with carrots before, and that was years ago, so it's never been like a passion, and this has 100% become a passion, which is really, I don't know, it feels nice. And oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, so I figured that along this journey, you know, I might be able to document it for myself and family, because as we've bought this property and kind of gotten our home to where we want it, we have an RV we're going to renovate and rent out. You know, we have this beautiful barn that needs a little bit of work, and space. It's so nice to be out of the city and have space and breathe and let our dog just run out without any worry that she's going to get picked up, or, you know, go try and sniff the wrong person who will freak out, or get hit by a car, you know. It might be nice. We just thought it might be nice to document the process. And, you know, I've used video journaling a lot. I used to have a few videos that I used for a school project that was kind of mixed in with a personal project. You know, when I was going through some grief after loss of family members, and kind of documented that. And looking back at those videos was so beneficial. I love it. It was so good for my mental health. And being that myself and my husband are both in the psych fields, you know, working with people with lots of trauma, working with families, working with individuals, I definitely see the benefit of journaling. And I definitely see the benefit in this day and age of video journaling. And it doesn't always have to be over heavy stuff. It can be over fun things, fun little projects that feel beneficial to you. And it doesn't have to be the heavy emotional lifting. So I'm gonna keep up this channel to see what happens, and see, you know, document the process for friends and family who might be watching. And if anyone else wants to watch, that's cool too. And just keep it kind of fun, keep it real. I don't know how to say that without sounding really pretentious, but keep it genuine. I want to just keep this process really genuine and not hyper edited, and just about here's what I'm doing as I learn to garden and learn to farm and learn to do little home ownership projects, big home ownership projects, renovation projects, building projects, things like that. Maybe some home decor projects. Just living life at home, I think, is what I really want to document. And thriving at home is what I really want to document. So I'm open to tips. Anybody who might stumble upon this page, friends and family, if you know me in real life, just hit me up wherever to tell me if I'm doing something wrong, if I'm doing something right. If you have questions, definitely correct me if you see me doing some gardening things and you're like, oh girl, those asparagus, they're never gonna happen, you know, or whatever. Welcome to our humble abode.